The topic that we're talking about, as you got from the introduction, is caregiving and education workforce. And this is the third week of the Build Back Better programs that we're doing to go over Biden's policies. So this is to mobilize the talent we have to create a new workforce in the caregiving and education sectors. And so I wanted to start with this video.
I started as a chemical engineering major. When I decided that I wanted to be a teacher, I told my mom. And my mom was just like, well, what about all that engineering money? My students all have physical or cognitive disabilities. I love that I get to build this community in my classroom. When someone's having a hard day, we just lift each other up. Hi, can I see you? Not being there is really tough. But I'm thinking, what about the rest of the community? When the president says we have to open schools without a plan over and over again, I think it's pretty reckless. He's led the way in showing this lack of empathy. Joe Biden knows loss. He actually seems to care about vulnerable people in our society. And I think partly because his wife is a teacher that he understands what we need. We need someone who's going to look out for my student safety and my safety, and I trust Joe Biden to do that.
And
I started as a chemical engineering major.
There we go. So I wanted to play that because I felt like it just kind of gave you a look into what teachers are going through right now and the type of situations that we're in because of COVID and how different leadership could help us to change that. Let me just Okay. And so the first slide here is just an overview of the plans that he has. He wants to, above all, he wants to keep people employed and keep the public services that we need, like schools, healthcare, and childcare. He wants to keep that running because if it's already working, we need to just keep pushing it so that it can continue to work. And then he wants to, once we are able to move from relief to recovery, then he wants to make affordable and accessible childcare for working families, make it easier for people to get care for their aging relatives and those in their lives who have disabilities, and make sure that they can get good quality and affordable care, and make sure the people who are doing that care and the educators have good benefits and are making a wage that they can live on and they can thrive on. And then these will lead to families being able to afford better childcare, family care, elder care, and early education for their loved ones. And then how he plans to do this is by expanding services and supports that we have for long-term care and ensuring that people have access to high quality and affordable childcare. And with that is offering universal preschool to 3 and 4-year-olds and building safe, energy efficient, developmentally appropriate childcare facilities. This is where you can see it builds in with what we talked about last week, how all his policies are intertwined, because he wants to make sure that whatever we're doing here, it's energy efficient and it's going to be as green as possible. And he wants to treat caregivers and early childhood educators with respect and dignity and build plans that support informal caregivers, like people who take care of their loved ones at home and they don't have necessarily a person who takes care of them. They're just doing that on their own while they're still working. And through these plans and adding 12 weeks of paid family and medical leave, it will put 3 million Americans to work in new care and education jobs while increasing overall employment through things like the construction and other things involved with the plan by about 5 million jobs. And then he's going to pay for that by rolling back tax breaks on real estate investors and increasing tax compliance for high income earners. So that's people earning over $400,000 a year. And then so the 4 groups that you can break it up in is expanding access, so helping families have access to care for aging loved ones, people with disabilities, or their children, and then making the childcare high quality, affordable, and universal so that children have a place they can go to learn and grow where their parents know they're going to be safe, and then build those safe facilities and accelerate construction and renovation on facilities that are already in progress, and rewarding the caregivers and educators we already have, because as they mentioned in the Q&A, if you give people good benefits and good jobs, they're going to be more likely to do the job longer, to stay with the company, the school, whatever it is, because they want to do well at the job they have. So by expanding access to dignified care for older Americans and those with disabilities, we would want to eliminate the current wait list that we have for people to get home and community services through Medicaid, which that's 800,000 people, and it can take people up to 5 years to get through that wait list. So he wants to just initially include everyone in that plan, so then people don't have to wait anymore, because while they're waiting, they're still going to need that care. And then through that, he will increase Medicaid funding, and he will offer states the option to buy into a plan where they can expand Medicaid in their state, and then they will be given a choice to convert their programs into the larger federal program that he's going to be starting. And then they will be establishing long-term solutions to help expand alternatives to institutional care, because sometimes that's not the best choice for all people. So they want to be able to give people places that they can go where it's not institutionalized, so they can stay at home with their families, or they can go to a community-based area. And then that will help to eliminate the institutional biases that we see in public programs with a lot of racial and gender-based discrimination. And then we will be able to dedicate resources to testing new ways of doing things and expanding things. And then we can take those and we can take the successful things that we've worked on small scale and then build that up to a greater national program. And then we want to improve caregiving and health outcomes in underserved communities. And this would be by putting the money where it's needed most. So tripling the number of community health workers and investing in communities that have suffered from racial health disparities. And then they would have community health solutions that would empower the people within their own community to become health workers, become care workers, and take care of those that they live around. And then it's an advantageous thing, because every dollar spent on community health workers yields about $2.47 in savings in later healthcare that they might need in emergency situations because they weren't getting the healthcare they needed initially. And so we want to fill the gaps that we have in the healthcare infrastructure. So that would be training 35,000 workers to address opioid epidemic and substance abuse disorders, recruiting, retaining, and empowering nursing professionals. So like we talked about in the Q&A, we want to take those people who are already doing work in the health and care fields and push them to get better jobs, get jobs within the same field that they're already on their way towards being qualified for. And then create jobs providing care for veterans and providing resources for Indian Health Services to create new healthcare jobs within the reservations and working with leaders within those communities to best serve the people in their nations. And we want to create a public health jobs corps, which will help us to fight the pandemic that we're currently in, and it will also set the framework for people being empowered in the healthcare community around the country going forward. And then they also want to build plans to support informal caregivers. So those are those people who are taking care of their family members who aren't necessarily trained, but he wants to give them money, give them tax breaks that they need in order to better care for their family. And so he wants to put things online so that people can just look up, I need someone to help take care of my grandma. And then you can just look that up online. You can find out what you qualify for based on your income and other benefits you might qualify for. And then they can even identify people that can help you right now. And then here we have another video as we move into the section on childcare and early childhood.
To start, every 3- and 4-year-old child gets access to free high-quality preschool, and low- and middle-income families won't spend more than 7% of their income on childcare for children under the age of 5. Advancing racial equity across the American economy. Building wealth for families of color. Building a future worthy of their courage and their ambition. Just imagine if we could truly unleash their full potential. I'm confident we can do this. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
So by creating high-quality childcare that is affordable, it will give parents and guardians a chance to pursue their careers or education while knowing that their kids are in a stimulating, safe environment where they get to further their own education. And so that would be through providing 3- and 4-year-olds access to free high-quality pre-kindergarten, which I benefited from because when my parents were going to school, when I was younger, I was able to go to the Head Start program, and that gave them peace of mind, and it gave me a chance to learn things that I wouldn't be learning at a traditional daycare. And they will do stuff like that by providing low-income and middle-class families a tax credit to help them pay for childcare, and ensuring families that have older kids are able to find somewhere that they can send their kids after school on the weekend or over the summer, so they still have somewhere that they can go that the parents trust. And then they would invest in childcare and other services at community colleges, because that will empower the parents, which are largely women and people of color, to go to community colleges and have a place that they can drop their kid off while they go to class. And then it will also help military children have access to quality childcare through the Department of Defense, and he wants to let people know that the Department of Defense provides childcare, because many people don't know that. And so for young children, 0 to 5, he wants to adopt the childcare program envisioned in the Childcare for Working Families Act, which is a bipartisan act that is in the Senate right now, and that will help save families money by helping with childcare costs, invest in quality childcare standards and well-trained and well-compensated childcare workforce, and expanding access to care that works for working parents. And that's like putting a childcare facility within the parents' work and empowering them to be able to do their job while knowing their kid is somewhere safe. And then we're gonna watch a clip from Elizabeth Warren's speech at the DNC, or it's gonna go back.
Let me tell you about one of Joe's plans that's especially close to my heart, childcare. As a little girl growing up in Oklahoma, what I wanted most in the world was to be a teacher. I loved teaching. And when I had babies and was juggling my first big teaching job down in Texas, it was hard. But I could do hard. The thing that almost sank me, childcare. One night, my Aunt Bee called just to check in, and I thought I was fine. But then I just broke down and started to cry. I had tried holding it all together, but without reliable childcare, working was nearly impossible. And when I told Aunt Bee I was going to quit my job, I thought my heart would break. And then she said the words that changed my life. I can't get there tomorrow, but I'll come on Thursday. And she arrived with 7 suitcases and a Pekingese named Buddy and stayed for 16 years. I get to be here tonight because of my Aunt Bee. I learned a fundamental truth. Nobody makes it on their own. And yet, here we are, 2 generations of working parents later. And if you have a baby and don't...
So he wants to work with also providing the childcare and early education and building new facilities, because before the pandemic, 43% of parents had difficulty locating childcare, either because it wasn't convenient for them or it wasn't affordable, and that's only worsened as the pandemic has continued. Our nation has a massive shortage of childcare facilities, and it's only gotten worse, and we need to do something to help meet the need that our citizens have. So he wants to create new childcare construction tax breaks to encourage businesses to build childcare facilities within the places of work that they're already building. And the plan is you get 50% back on your tax credit for the first $1 million you spend on the facility that you're building, as long as you include a proper childcare facility within it that is safe. And he wants to make investments in building new facilities and upgrading existing facilities around the country. And all of these investments will require high quality standards to make sure they are the safest they can possibly be and providing the best education that they can and the best care that they can. And so the last part of his plan is rewarding caregivers and educators with benefits and protections that they deserve, because this will maintain and grow diverse, talented care and education workers all throughout our country, and that will help us throughout every part of the plan. So this plan will increase pay, provide benefits that they have earned, create stronger legal protections, the choice to join a union, and collective bargaining, like Jay was talking about with UEA for the teachers in Utah, and implement training and career ladders so that people who are already working in the community have chances to get better training and go further in their career than they can right now. So if anyone has any questions right now, I'd be willing to answer them. I just put some links here. So if you want more information on Biden's policies, you need help getting registered or making a plan to vote, or you're a Salt Lake Community College student and you want to join our social medias, these are the links for you.